The perilous path of free speech in Afghanistan. 132 journalists slain in 20 years. Afghanistan media outlets have sacrificed greatly in the past 20 years to pursue freedom of expression, access to information, free flow of information, and democratic culture. Statistics on media casualties from 2001 to 2023, published by the Afghanistan Journalists Center, AFJC, indicate that 130 media personnel have been killed in suicide and armed attacks by the Taliban, ISIS-Khorasan, and unidentified armed individuals. The majority of these journalists have been killed by the Taliban, with some gruesomely beheaded by this group. The previous government, in the months leading to its collapse, also stated that 132 journalists were killed in 19 years, with the Taliban responsible for 67 of these cases. From 2001 to 2023, data from Hashdisub Daily reveals that 48 suicide bombings, 17 armed attacks, 13 mine explosions, 27 shootings, and 4 knife attacks have resulted in the deaths of journalists and media workers. The remaining casualties occurred in Taliban ambushes on the previous government's security forces, mysterious assassinations, NATO forces shootings, and shootings by the Islamic Party under Gulbuddin Hekmatyar's leadership. Collected statistics indicate that the Taliban are responsible for over 60% of journalist killings, attributing 35 attacks against journalists to ISIS, and the remainder to unidentified armed individuals and mysterious killings. Additionally, approximately 13 female journalists have fallen victim to media-related violence during this period. These journalists have been killed in various provinces, including Kabul, Nangarhar, Balkh, Logar, Khost, Takhar, Kunduz, Uruzgan, Ghazni, Kandahar, Paktika, Nuristan, Parwan, Jazjan, Baghlan, Caspia, Balkh, and Ghor. Nearly 60% of journalist deaths have occurred as a result of explosions and suicide attacks by the Taliban and ISIS in Kabul, with 11 cases of journalist killings in Nangarhar province and the remainder in 16 other provinces. Over the past 20 years, approximately 16 foreign journalists have also been killed in Afghanistan. Some of these journalists worked for renowned global media outlets, such as the New York Times, Associated Press, Reuters, Agence France-Presse, and U.S. forces. Based on findings, about 10 television and radio broadcasters in Afghanistan have been killed by the Taliban, and attacks are attributed to ISIS and unidentified armed individuals. Their families have repeatedly demanded justice from the previous government and the prosecution of those responsible, but no practical action has been taken until the fall of the government by the Taliban. Yama Siavash, presenter of political programs on Tolo TV, was among the prominent media figures in Afghanistan who lost his life in a mine explosion planted in his vehicle. His killing sparked widespread and unprecedented domestic and international reactions. After 20 years of journalists and media activists giving sacrifice in support of freedom of expression, findings from Reporters Without Borders indicate that 547 media outlets were operating across Afghanistan before the Taliban's takeover. Currently, the Taliban have imposed extensive restrictions on the media and have deemed photography and videography as sins.